I would stay away from Tiger. But if you listen to him and his preparation, he's saying, or he has said over the past few weeks, at the very least, he's getting stronger. He's able to work out more. And on the course, he's able to do more than he has been able to do in previous months. So I'm not putting money on Tiger Woods, but it wouldn't surprise me to see maybe a better performance in this major than we've seen in previous majors.
Well, if you want to bet on Tiger, you bet on him on the first day or even the first few holes. Mm-hmm. What was the bet that you had the last championship, or excuse me, the last major? What was it, to birdie the first hole?
Yeah.
You had something like that, didn't you?
And it came home. He hit out of the rough onto the green and then sunk like a 12-foot putt for birdie. And it was Tiger to birdie the first hole, and I believe he started on 10 in the tournament. So it was the 10th, but it was definitely a hole that you could birdie. And I thought, let's just get Tiger early on, because the threat with him, or the risk with him, is his body just gets worn out. So, yeah, I think your point is absolutely correct. If you're going to bet on Tiger, get him early before he starts having some of those physical problems that have really plagued him. Is Colin Montgomery a jerk? What's he doing?
Yes, he is, and he's always been known to be.
Yes.
So there's that. Remember when Stephen Ames called out Tiger Woods before the match play a long time ago, and Tiger won like 8 up with like 7 to play or something like that? And Tiger, of course, fired a shot at Montgomery yesterday during his press conference about whether he should continue playing and what have you. Honestly, it's not up to Colin Montgomery. And by the way, Colin Montgomery has never won a major championship, so he should probably just, stay on the senior tour and not say anything. But also, James, I think there's some truth to what he was saying. It is a little bit ceremonial now with Tiger Woods, right? He's 200-1 to win this thing. Do we really think he's going to be in contention here this week? He hasn't played well in the major championships. He was awful at the Masters, and he missed the last 2 cuts at the PGA and the U.S. Open, respectively. So the whole Tiger thing we talk about, of course, I think it's worth maybe a sprinkle for him to make the cut here at the Open, just because it typically caters to the older guard. Remember, Tom Watson at the age of 59 was 1 putt away from winning the British Open back in 2008. So, there's 2 sides of it. I always say the Masters and the British is Tiger's best shot at winning another major. So who's to say maybe he can be a factor here this week?
Even though you look at the weather and it's not supposed to be good, and I feel like that doesn't really go in Tiger's favor, I feel like when you see weather like that, it always makes me want to bet on the European players. Guys who have been brought up in the elements and kind of know how to play it. So are you betting on any Europeans, whether it's to finish, first, top 20, top 40? Is there anybody that catches your eye that is from across the pond?
Yeah, a couple of plays I want to highlight. 2 Englishmen in particular. Tommy Fleetwood for a top 20 this week is minus 120 over at BetMGM. 1 finish outside the top 30 in his last 7 starts. Leads the field in strokes gained total at the Open the last 5 years. Top 20 in the following categories: total driving, recent approach play, recent around the green play, and scrambling in difficult conditions. 4 top 15 finishes in his last 6 starts at the Open. He has the most strokes gained total on all links golf courses over the course of the last 10 years. So Tommy Fleetwood, put that all together. A fantastic play, to your point, Chelsea, in those difficult link-style conditions. My favorite play this week might just be Aaron Rai, who's an Englishman, for a top 40 this week over at BetMGM. He's minus 135. He won the Scottish Open 4 years ago, 5 straight top 15 finishes on tour. He's actually 4th on tour in strokes gained total, which is a fantastic stat when you really think about it. Not a ton of major experience, but he does have a top 25 at the British Open at Portrush a few years ago. So I think he's playing the best golf by far right now in terms of his career. And we talk about playing in difficult conditions and dealing with the wind. What do you need to do in windy conditions? Keep the ball low. Aaron Rai has the 2nd lowest apex height in this field, meaning, he doesn't get it up there very often, so he knows how to pierce through that wind. So Tommy Fleetwood, top 20, Aaron Rai, top 40, a couple of Englishmen here.
We're talking with Cam Rogers, golf and betting expert on the Believe Network. A great follow on X and Instagram as well. So, Cam, who is a golfer that maybe the market is high on that you are not, just based on gameplay and the course conditions here?
Victor Hovland is at 33-1. You've got Brooks Koepka at 40-1. I would rather look elsewhere than these two guys. Brooks Koepka has kind of been a curious case so far this year. Like, I'm kind of done with just betting on the name at this juncture. We're at the fourth major of the year, so that's why I'm off people like Jon Rahm or Brooks Koepka, just because they haven't shown me anything in terms of recent form in major championship capacity. So I'm off those guys this week. Would not be surprised to see them contend, but there's just not a lot of data for me to go off of. Maybe a little bit with Rahm. He's playing well on Live, but even still, it seems like he's still figuring things out. And then Victor Hovland, the short game all of a sudden is not very good. He actually finally figured it out at some points this PGA Tour season and then sort of lost it recently. So when you're missing greens, and these greens are small, this is not like St. Andrews here at Royal Troon, you're going to have to scramble your way around. And I don't know if Victor Hovland can do that. So three guys I'm a little bit wary about. You look at, say, Bryson DeChambeau at 16-1. The Open Championship for Bryson has been a bit of a bugaboo. Now, that was the case with the Masters, and he played pretty well this year. But still, the Open is a different beast, and he's more tactical, more precise, more scientific with the way in which he plays golf. You got to be more artistic, think your way, craft your way around an Open Championship venue. I don't know if Bryson can adapt quite yet. Maybe he can. We shall see. But 16-1 is too expensive for me.
Okay, so can we talk about Rory? Obviously, he has had a bit of the spotlight as of late. It's been a while since he's won a major. Maybe this feels like a good spot for him.
I was very close to picking him to win. I love him for a top 10 year this week. I would not be surprised to see Rory McIlroy win this thing. He's minus 135 for a top 10. T4 last week at the Scottish. 6 top 6 finishes across his 9 starts at the Open. No worse than T15 in each of his past 6 starts on the PGA Tour. And he makes a ton of cuts at this tournament. Winner at Hoylake, of course, 10 years ago, which, of course, was his last major championship triumph. So, I think finally there is a serious thinking here behind Rory McIlroy winning this week, plus 750, something like that over at BetMGM. He's actually plus 800 now. I think there is some reason to bet on him. Now, I'm not going to do it. The number's a little bit too short for me. I like somebody else way down the board to win this thing, but this could finally be the week where Rory McIlroy actually wins another major championship, just because everybody is like writing him off about Pinehurst and can he bounce back. That was weeks ago. He just finished inside the top 5 last week. I think his psyche is fine. His mentality is fine. So I think Rory McIlroy is a safe bet, top 10, and worth a play in the outright market as well.
Cam, got a couple minutes remaining here, so please enlighten me as someone who needs to stay in shape. What did you do this morning? What does this entail? Explain this to me again.
Yeah, so it's a heated room. We're talking about Yoga Sculpt, right? You got a yoga mat set up. You got weights going. It's a lot of low impact, Jake, so it's easy on the knees, not a lot of jumping. We're talking about squats. We're talking about lunges, a lot of holding positions, if you will. So that really gets you to sweat. And I'm an efficient body, so I sweat a lot. So I've been ripping Gatorade Zero all morning. And you just feel better. It's also like the mental side of things. I felt so great walking out. I was like, oh my gosh, got my workout in, and I'm going to go on BetQL, rocking and rolling. It just makes you feel different. Think about it, Chinks. I know you get up at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., but maybe do a 4 a.m. workout.